What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back for Friday's NBA DFS ConTENders, my top 10 plays of the day for this slate. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know when this and everything else that we put out goes live. Pascal Siakam is on the outside looking in today. Who will be the top 10 plays for today? Let's find out. Coming in at number 10, former Raptor, Jonas Valanciunas, 7,500 on FanDuel, 7,300 on DraftKings. He's essentially a top 10 guy for me on both sites. Number 12 on FanDuel's close enough. I'm giving him 29 minutes. He's been at 1.25 fantasy points per minute through the hiatus. He's going to see a little bit of extra time, or at least the minutes seem a little firmer now that Jaren Jackson Jr. is out. I expect him to play almost all of the minutes that Steven Adams is on the floor. This is a perfect matchup for him. I think he hits his GPP goal around 15% of the time. You're looking for about a 50 burger if you're taking Jonas Valanciunas in a GPP. I think that's more than feasible. 17 and 12 as a baseline projection works for me. I'm looking at Jonas Valanciunas in a game that, we've got a pace of 102.3 possessions. That works enough for me. Okay, coming in number 9, that would be Troy Brown, a guy that I cannot seem to quit. He's 18th on FanDuel, but he's number 6 on DraftKings, and he's number 6 on SuperDraft. And I'm going to make that column a little wider so that everybody can see that even better. Troy Brown, he's a point per minute guy, but he's just heavily involved in a Wizards team that isn't particularly good. This Pelicans game is a track meet. 4 additional possessions over the Wizards average for this one. The total is massive. Troy Brown should play north of 30 minutes. You're looking for 40 plus as a GPP goal. Look, to me, Troy Brown has highly variant outcomes, but the minutes are there. The production is pretty much there. You're just never confident in what the Wizards can do. But today in particular, especially with that guard forward eligibility on Brown, I see no reason to get away from him. Alrighty, number 8. Not the first time I've recommended this man, Ja Morant. Now this one's a little bit trickier on DraftKings. He's 8,500. He's ranked 17th. He only hits his goal 9% of the time. I wouldn't go too crazy on DK. But on FanDuel, he's my number 6 overall, 7,700. And on SuperDraft, he's my number 4 overall with a 1.5 multiplier. He's playing monster minutes. I've got him in for 36. The stroke hasn't been there, but he's going to find a day during this bubble where the shots start falling, and he's going to put up a monster. And when you're putting up that monster at a baseline of 9 points and 5 assists, flip that. 9 assists, 5 rebounds. And he's just going to blow that mark out of the water. Getting to 49 on FanDuel seems very plausible. OKC, I don't want to say they're shorthanded, but they are missing Dennis Schroeder now, so I think that helps a little bit. I love Morant. I love the minutes. I love this Grizzlies team. I'm just sad that they're going through some injury issues. Ja Morant's going to be a top 10 guy for me all day, at least on FanDuel. Alrighty, coming in at number 7, hear me out here. Isaac Bonga. So we're going Grizzlies, Wizards, Grizzlies, Wizards. There's not a lot of value out there right now. The entire slate is very slim at the sub 4,500 type guys. I'm not even that huge on Bonga on FanDuel, although he will be a guy that I pay down for. But on DraftKings, small forward, power forward eligibility, 3,800. You're only looking for him to get to like 34 fantasy points, which is a tall order for Isaac Bonga, don't get me wrong. But I think he's more of like a 0.8 fantasy point per minute guy and not the 0.63 we've seen so far in the bubble. I'm betting that this game fits him better in a huge pace up spot. I don't get the sense there's going to be a ton of defense going on here, just running up and down the floor. And I think that Bonga can capitalize there. I've got him in for 28 minutes, and that's sort of the shot I'm willing to take on a $3,800 Bonga. All right, changing it up a little bit. Now we're going to number 6. To Oklahoma City we go. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He doesn't have to worry about Dennis Schroeder being on the floor with him. He's number 13 for me on FanDuel, number 4 on DraftKings, 6,800. That price is way too cheap. 48-point GPP goal. He's been at 1.00, what am I talking about? 1.00 fantasy points per minute during the bubble. It's a pace-up spot against the Grizzlies. The minutes are there. I've got him in for 35, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. He gets to 36, 37, 38. Shai just soaks up the time. On DraftKings, if you are playing today, I highly recommend Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think he's in a great spot. I'm really anxious to see the little war between him and Ja Morant, two of the fun young guards in the NBA. Now, if you need a big man other than Jonas Valanciunas, look no further than number 5, Nikola Vucevic, 4th on FanDuel, 7th on DK. He's 7,800 on both sites. You're looking for a 50-point day. No Aaron Gordon, no John Isaac. It's not looking great for the Magic, so they're going to have to lean on Vooch a little bit more than usual. We're talking about a 20-10, pretty much guaranteed out of Vooch every time he steps on the floor. If he looks for his shot just a little bit more, I think this could be a great spot. He has the range to step out to 3. I'm anxious to see how they handle that matchup against Philly. Will they be able to pull Joel Embiid away from the paint? I don't know. Probably not. I think they'll just go a different direction. But if not, that's a benefit for the Magic in general. I think Vooch is in a great spot here. Sixers are kind of in shambles. Vooch needs to take over for this Magic team as they slowly get closer to the playoffs. I'm not going any other way. Nikola Vucevic is the center for me. Unless you want to go to the other side of this game. 9,800 on FanDuel, 10.5 on DK. He even gets a little bit of a multiplier on SuperDraft. The process. Joel Embiid, 32 minutes on the board for him right now. 1.88 fantasy points per minute since he's been in the bubble. That is insane. No Ben Simmons, so you have to think that Joel Embiid is going to want to do a little bit more. I don't know if that's a good thing, if that means that Al Horford is alongside of him, but I am certainly going to pay to find out. He's got a 57-point GPP goal on FanDuel. I think he hits that 30% of the time. That's a massive number for a slate. Even just 50 fantasy points as a projection at that price, you can't get away from it. I love Embiid here. The matchup is fantastic. It's not like Kem Birch or if they dust off Mo Bamba. They don't have an ability to match up for him. Nikola Vucevic isn't that guy defensively. Embiid should thrive in this spot. But Embiid isn't even the last center that I'm recommending. That would be Jarrett Allen, number 5 on FanDuel, number 3 on DraftKings, and number 1 on SuperDraft with a 1.65x multiplier. He's 7K on FanDuel, 6,300 on DK. Now, he is questionable. There's no telling on if he's in this game or not. But if he plays, I expect him to play big minutes. I'm giving him 32. A matchup against Sacramento is not all that scary, whether it's Rashawn Holmes or Alex Len, or even if they move Nemanja Bjelica. Whew. It's early, guys. Trying to pull that from my head. Sometimes it's tough. I like the matchup regardless for Jarrett Allen. He and Caris LeVert are essentially the centerpieces of this team. They can do whatever they would like. He might even see a bit of a usage bump. Baseline projections of 15 and 12, a steal, maybe 2 blocks. It's really hard to not want to go to someone like Jarrett Allen, especially in a matchup against the Sacramento team that is kind of comparable to them. It's not like Sacramento is the Clippers or the Lakers or the Bucks where you just expect the Nets to get blown out. Oh, wait, the Nets had a decent game in that scenario. You guys know what I mean. You have to look at Jarrett Allen if he is in. 7K on FanDuel, 6,300 on DK. He works if you're trying to do stars and scrubs or a balanced build. You could even play Jarrett Allen in a utility spot alongside one of Embiid or Vooch or Jonas Valanciunas. It's certainly a perfect day to end up with 2 centers. There's an infinite amount of center talent to be found. I really like going to Jarrett Allen here. Man, I can't talk for this Jarrett Allen one, but I can't cut it. I've said so much. So let's move it right along to Jarrett Allen's partner in crime, Caris LeVert. I assume he plays. Who knows? Keep an eye on it. Number 3 on FanDuel, number 2 on DraftKings, number 8 on SuperDraft. Man, that 7,100 price tag on DraftKings looks pretty nice. 33 minutes. I've got him in for 34% usage, but honestly, he might shoot every single time down the floor. That's a 25-6-5 game as a baseline. If Caris LeVert gets to 50 against the Sacramento Kings, who's surprised? He is the entire offense for this Nets team. There are monster games locked inside of Karis LeVert right now. I want to make sure that I am on his side when he finally goes off. But if I'm taking anybody from that Brooklyn game, it's not coming from Brooklyn. It's coming from Sacramento. Give me De'Aaron Fox, number 1 on FanDuel, number 1 on DraftKings, and number 3 on SuperDraft, 8K on FanDuel, 7,600 on DK. Monster minutes. I've got him in for 36. I don't really care if it's Bogdanovic next to him or Buddy Hield next to him or Corey Joseph next to him. I'm just going to assume that De'Aaron Fox is going to go crazy. 24 and 8 as a baseline. If he can get out in transition, which is his bread and butter, he should be able to do that over and over again against a Brooklyn team that's just not going to have that sort of defensive identity. They don't have their coach that they had the entire season, and they don't have half of their players. You have to assume there will be a lot of miscommunications in their transition game, which means De'Aaron Fox should thrive. One of the best transition players in basketball. It's a pace-up spot for the Kings. He's been playing really solid basketball during the bubble, 1.29 fantasy points per minute. This seems like a perfect spot. Who on Brooklyn is going to check him? Who on Brooklyn is going to want to try to check him? I don't think that person exists. So for me, it's De'Aaron Fox on the top of the heap. Alrighty, friends, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders for Friday, August 7th. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. If you have any questions for me, hit me up on Twitter at Josh Engleman. I'll be posting updates to this list throughout the day. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comment section of this video. I'll be sure to get back to you throughout the day as news breaks. That's probably it for the weekend, although since I lost one for the hurricane, maybe I'll sneak up on Saturday or Sunday. I appreciate you guys joining me. Good luck tonight, and I'll see you again maybe this weekend, but probably Monday morning.